listening to a guy on YouTube. His channel is called Good Luck America. And he has a very interesting perspective on a lot of different things. He's very different. He comes from a law enforcement background, and I've been listening to him. This is like his third channel. And there's times when they kick him off of YouTube. But he's pretty good.
Going on so much news, I'm like, God, I gotta do a video on that. I gotta do a video on that. Man, this is, what did Confucius say? May you live in interesting times? Maybe it wasn't Confucius. But anyway, this guy, Guns and Gadget guy, I don't know him that much. I've seen a few of the videos. He's pretty pro Second Amendment. He's got 3%er on one arm. He's got We the People on this arm. And I'm not too impressed with his blue line wristwatch there. We the People supporting the blue line. I'm not sure about that. But otherwise, Guns and Gadget guy, hey, throw him a sub. He's out there trying to fight for gun rights. He's bringing information. Like his videos, and keep people who are informing us alive. So we did a pretty good video here on this Hawaii thing. So let's take a look at Hawaii.
Actually, it's not even that time right now, so they're still under martial law as I'm recording this at 9 a.m. here in the Eastern Seaboard. So you know what? Yeah, watch this. It's about 3 minutes long. You can hear it right from the horse's mouth.
Okay, so let me get to this martial law. Martial law, people like to throw the term around again, and it's pretty much become just common language that if you're in lockdown or if the government tells you you can't go out, that's martial law. Technically, it's not really the true definition of martial law. I get it. It's against the freedoms of the Constitution, and it's just a step away from martial law. But technically, when the federal government takes over, brings in the military, takes over the cities, takes over the courts, and suspends pretty much state courts, and now you're in military tribunals and military courts, that's really hardcore martial law. I'm not saying what they're doing is wrong. Don't get me wrong. I don't have the Rick, you're just a bootleg. You like they lock you down. I don't like that they're locking us down. To be honest, I don't even feel like I'm locked down. But I'll get into that in another video. But here's what a lot of the tyrannical left wing, because left wing loves government, loves control, loves to give you free stuff because they know they can take it away, loves to tell you you're free because they know they can take it away, loves to tell you they'll protect you because they know they have the guns and they don't have to protect you. So just hear this out. This is what I would consider a low grade form of martial law. And this she, I'm not sure. It's a man wanting to be a woman wanting to be a... I don't want to use the wrong pronoun, but this is the chief of police of left-wing Hawaii. Shocking. I'm sure she was the best officer on the road and has all kind of experience out there doing good law enforcement work, and that's why she's got 4 stars on her shoulder. But I digress.
Aloha. Before I get started, I just want to remind everybody, just think about why we're doing what we're doing. We're doing this so that we can get out of the situation as quickly as possible.
We are doing this. We meaning the smart people in government who are protecting you stupid, tax-paying sheep, pesky citizens.
And everyone can get back to their normal lives. That is the only reason. That's the goal.
The left doesn't want us to get back to normal because they love having all this power. They love being able to say how bad Trump is and how Trump messed this up. They love crisis because they always have somebody to blame.
In mind. And what we're seeing out there is the majority of people are listening and doing what they need to do. But there are a few who continue to...
There's always a few. 90% of the problems are caused by 10% of the people. And most all businesses, including the military, police work, and any job that I've ever done, 10% of the people do 90% of the work.
Not follow the rules and not do what needs to be done for all of us to get out of here, so that we can move on with our lives and get back to some type of normalcy. So what I just want to let people know is that obviously Chief McCarthy said the other day,
good Lord, this woman got more stars than the freaking space itself. She got 4 or 5 on this side. She got 4 or 5 across her name tag on this side. I'm surprised she ain't got them on her collars. I want to see her freaking underwear because I know she got stars all over them too.
HPD is going to be out there even more so now, doing stricter enforcement out on the roads.
HPD is doing more strict enforcement. That means we're not getting enough tickets, so not enough people on the road. So we have to find more ways to justify interfering with your free movement, interfering with your freedom, show you who's in control, and see if we can raise revenues by writing you pesky citizens tickets who are out there trying to make a living and go along with your life.
Everything, not just traffic, but also we're going to be looking at people who are out for, maybe violating the stay-at-home order.
Okay, big problem, stay-at-home order. A lot of people are like, they can't do it. Look, when they give an order that you can only be out for certain reasons, they pretty much throw away probable cause and reasonable suspicion. The fact that you're out is their probable cause. So when they start making laws that they don't have to do anything, government automatically has a right to detain you and ask for your papers and ask for your reason and ask what you're doing with no other suspicion of a crime. Well, now they've just invented a crime to where being out is a crime. Pretty soon it'll be talking about the government is a crime. Saying negative things, promoting the Second Amendment is a crime. Supporting our founding fathers is a crime. When they make everything a crime, everyone becomes a criminal.
We're also going to be taking a look at, we're going to have a lot more stricter enforcement out at the beach parks. You're going to see a lot more officers out there at the beach parks. So if the parks are closed, you cannot be in the parks.
Okay, so I was stationed in Hawaii for 3 years, and I got arrested in Hawaii. I was about to go to SWAT training school, and you have to be in shape, you have to do all this stuff. I quit drinking, I was all working out, running how many miles, push-ups, all this crap, because the first day in class, if you fail, they kick you out. Matter of fact, they kicked out 2 Marines on the first day because they were drinking. But that's another story. So anyway, I'm on my way to SWAT school, and my team was like, dude, man, let's go out and have a beer before you leave. And I'm like, man, I haven't been drinking. I'm in shape. I don't want to mess up this test. It's really hard to get this class. They only have so many slots, and they only run it a few times a year, so it's very hard to get this class. So me and my buddy go out, my second guy on the SWAT team, we go out to Diamond Point, which is a great lookout point. It overlooks rocks and the ocean. It's a very nice spot to go take a woman, to have a drink, whatever. So we go out there, and we're sitting on the hood of my car, looking, and we get a beer out. We pop the beer. We do a toast. Good luck. Kick ass. Blah, blah, blah. All our hoorah shit. We're talking about, taking notes, coming back, how it's going to help the team, blah, blah, blah. And the only other people on this beach is a woman and a man sitting over there. The woman is sitting on this guy's lap, kissing, and they're kissing. That's the only people that are on here. As soon as we crack our beer, do our toast, they both stand up, walk over, pull out badges, and say, you guys are under arrest, drinking on the beach, open container. And they fucking put us in handcuffs. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So I'm like, shit, I'm going to lose my class. So, of course, they take us, they book us, they make us post bond, and then they give us a ticket as soon as we're down there. They go, okay, we're going to give you a ticket. Maybe I didn't have to post bond because they gave us a ticket. So they just drag us down there so they can get an arrest. And they were kind of like shaking. They found my duty gear because I had all my leather gear and everything in the back of my seat from working as a cop out on the base. They were just like, oh, you white people come here and make us do your law. They were both Hawaiian. Most racist people I've ever met. Hate white people. I'm surprised it was a white woman. The only reason she's white and being in the police force is because of her sexual gender and her woman status. But I digress. Anyway, that's how Hawaii is. When I got to Hawaii, I had to bring every gun, and I've always had a lot of guns. I had to bring every gun to the police station. Even though I had them on the base, living on the base, I had to bring them to the police station and take a fingerprint and serial number and picture with each gun that they kept on file at the police department. They had gun registration when I was there back in 83, I believe. Anyway, I digress. Just to give you a little background on my experience with Hawaii and Honolulu police. Here we go.
I do want to make one clarification. So for those folks who are out there running and walking on the beach part or on the sidewalks, that is not allowed. The only place that you can run and walk is below the high water mark.
So government and their eagerness to control and to make rules, and we must have regulations, and everything has to be structured, kind of like the old Soviet Union. You want to watch a good series on Amazon, and I don't know if you can get it on somewhere else. It's called The Americans. I've watched it before, but I mean, they did a great job. That was back when Reagan was president in Russia. The Cold War was still going on, and we were spying on them, and they were spying on us. Great series, but plus smoking hot lead woman Carrie Russell. Woo! And there's some great scenes in that series. But I digress. Here we go.
Yeah, I paused it real quick because he's definitely leaving out that the children in that series, the Americans, were unbeknownst. They had no idea what their parents were doing. I would argue that the parents would have been raising their children to be spies.
Defining rules very specific. You must run below the waterline. You can't run on the beach, but if you run in the water with the waterline, then you can run. Gotta have rules.
So what does that mean? The easiest thing for me to relate to is if you're running or walking in the water, you're going to be okay. If you're on the sand, you're violating the proclamation.
Who sat around and made this freaking rule? I mean, this is how tyranny just grows when you give people power. Some freaking little pansy politician is like, all right, let's let them run in the water where it's wet sand, but if they run in the dry sand, we're going to be able to give them a ticket, collect revenue, and arrest them for violating order. Who sits around and thinks like that, people? I'll tell you who. Tyrannical governments.
Nation for the city. And in addition, on top of all that, there will be no vehicles. That includes cars, motorcycles, mopeds, bicycles, tricycles, anything with a wheel will not be allowed on the roadways from the hours of 11 p.m. starting Friday night until 0500 on Monday.
Okay, so no vehicles on the road at night. Now, there were some places back in the day, probably back in the 70s, where they tried this to cut down crime. And they said, if we have a curfew, it'll be crime. When I was stationed in Korea, 2 different times, they had a curfew. From midnight to 5 in the morning, nobody was allowed anywhere on the road. There was no crime, there was no nothing, because the only people on the road was the cops. And come midnight, they would put a police car at the main gate, anybody that's been to Korea, and the cops would pull out there with a gate with a siren, and they would turn on the siren. And when you heard that siren, that was a 5-minute warning that curfew was starting. And if you either wasn't with a girl and going home with her, and you were leaving a bar, you better haul your ass and get in that gate, because curfew was going to hit, and anybody on the road, KNP, Korean National Peace, would hook your ass up. So, and in the U.S., they tried curfews, and some of the, how do I say, high doctor, liberal left-wing cities, because...
He's saying high doctor, which is high crime, is what he's trying to say. He's trying to say in the black communities. He's a piece of work, but he's still good.
Crime was so high at night, maybe if we do a curfew, then only cops can be out. And that didn't go over too well with Freedoms, and of course the ACLU jumped in because it was mainly affecting high doctor neighborhoods. So they've already tried this curfew. My big problem with curfew when no one's allowed out is government's allowed to free roam. And what the hell is government doing when nobody's watching? Because the best thing to keep people honest is witnesses. And when government works in secrecy, which they're doing more and more and more, that's when freedoms disappear.
This is a trial, a test period. It may be extended to the duration and through.
Trial. What does a trial period mean? To me, a trial period means how much pushback, how much trouble will it be? Are we going to be able to enforce it? Because if everybody in Hawaii says, screw your curfew, we're going out for a walk at 1 in the morning, arrest us all, can't do it. They don't have that many cops. So, I mean, the people always have the power in numbers. And government's biggest challenge is to keep people divided and have you blame each other and separate so you can't fight government together. And I know somebody's going to be, Rick, you do that with liberals. That's because liberals are freaking always supporting the freaking government. You can't divide them. They're freaking for the government. They're for anything that gives them control. They love socialism. They think government has all the answers and it'll keep them safe. And if only they have guns and control, that everyone will be safe because they're all freaking idiots. But I digress.
Through April 30th. We'll make that decision probably on Monday sometime. So what does that mean? That means if you're out there, then the officers may stop you.
The officers, the KGB, they may stop you and ask for your papers. And if you do not give your papers, you can go to jail.
There are some exceptions to this. So for those people who are driving to and from work, for those people who are making deliveries, security vehicles, those who are trying to pick up medication.
Okay, here's a problem with making exceptions. It sounds all nice. Oh, Rick, see, the government's really good. They're allowing us to go to work, and if we've got business, and that's a good thing, because if you're not doing those things, you should be at home. That's kind of like the idiots that say, why wouldn't you let the police search you? If you don't have anything to hide, why wouldn't you let them search you? That's because you're a freaking idiot. Government is supposed to be controlled. They're not supposed to be able to do what they want. And what they're doing now by making it seem like they're giving you these nice exceptions if you go to work, you're still in violation if you're out. They get to stop you, detain you, ID you, and confirm whether or not you fall under one of those exceptions. That would be like saying, you can go ahead and roam free, but we don't want anybody robbing banks. And officers are allowed to stop anybody because we don't know if you're robbing a bank. But to make sure you're not robbing a bank, we can stop anybody and confirm that you're not robbing a bank. That's kind of what this exception is. If you're going to work, you're in the exception. But we can stop anybody to see if you're following or if you fall in the exception. Absolute tyranny, bullshit. I hate it. It's a form of martial law. It's not full blown, but it ain't good.
And also, of course, anybody who needs to go to the hospital or there's an emergency. And of course, you know, any of our first responders. So,
of course, first responders, government. And they're not saying it, but any politician, because they're important. And anybody working for government, because they're important, because they're exempt, because they have a government ID card. And the police family, because if the police want to stop their family, let them out, well, they're going to let them go. And, you know, and then the friends of the politicians and the people that donate to the politicians, they're going to let go. Anytime you give government power, they will only enforce it on the pesky tax-paying citizen at the bottom, and they will exempt their friends, the government, and people that donate and give them money. That's why government power is always bad, should be controlled. The founders knew it. The Constitution was put there. You know, people crack on me because they say, Rick, why are you so anti-government? Our freaking founders were anti-government. They knew what government was. The redcoats is the epitome of government. Okay? Tyrannical governments like China, communism, socialism, those are all government. Everybody with a brain knows that that is bad. Okay, so our founders were anti-government. Being anti-government was what this country was founded on and how we became so great. We became so great because we restricted government, we held them back, we didn't allow them to impede on freedoms, and we let freedom ring. And that's why we were prosperous, that's why we grew, that's why we set the standard for new innovations, new inventions, best medical care, best flight engineering, and space, everything was great because we held government back. Being anti-government is a good thing. And the freaking left wants to tell you you're bad if you think that.
So, please stay at home.
Oh, well, she said please. Well, shit. If you're going to impede on my freedom, as long as you say please, I guess I should feel warm and fuzzy about it.
That's all that we're asking you. Thank you.
So there you go.
Okay, so anyway, this is happening all over the place. A lot of places are doing it. You know, Minnesota, I think, is having some good things. Some place just said you couldn't. They're trying to prevent people from having church online. I think somewhere a governor said you can have church online, but you're not allowed to sing. I'm like, what the hell? Where the hell did that come from? I heard that on the news this morning. So look, government, if this, and I'm going to do a list of things that's good about the coronavirus, and I know people will be mad at me. Rick, there's nothing good. People are dying. People die in war. People die on the roads. People die every day. There's still the good things that can come out of deaths, and you can learn from it. And there's a lot of lessons to be learned about government failure, government so-called protections, government so-called taking care of the people. There is a whole bunch of lessons to be learned, and I'm making a list, and I'm going to try to do a video on that one coming up next. But anyway, this is Hawaii Tyranny, Guns and Gadgets. Subscribe, like his channel, and we'll end it there.
Yeah, Rick is really good. Well, he concentrated on this is what the left is pushing. When I have to tell you, man, the right is also pushing government and to be okay with everything that's going on. You see, Rick is kind of caught in a right-left paradigm when the truth is all this government is out to do is get bigger. I heard Biden recently say, why do you need an AK-47? You can't go up against a Tomahawk missile with an AK-47. And that to me was disgusting, because wouldn't the same thing be said to Thomas Jefferson and to the founding fathers when they were fighting the British? You can't go up against the British with a musket. How dare you think you can fight the Empire, the British Empire, with a musket? So you have to be very careful with the people that are supposed to be our leaders. And the thing is, it might be time for us to stop having leaders. Sorry about this. This whole thing is, it's not, it's wiggling and wobbling. I'll get some, I'm trying to get something that's going to be 10 times better, so we'll make it work. Rick makes a great point. This is, who's going to be out at night when the curfew happens? Like he said, it's going to be it's going to be the police, it's going to be the family of the police, the friends of the police, the politicians, the friends of the politicians, the friends. So it's going to be, people will be out. Your butt will just be in. So we have to fight against tyranny. We have to fight against tyranny. That's the whole point in being an American. Where everyone else buckled under the pressure. Everyone else, when I say everyone else, I'm talking about all the rest of the world. All those other countries, they the ones that allow their country to, just be destroyed by the government and its idea of where it should be. And we should dictate where our country should be. We've always done that. Isn't that the whole point? Isn't that the whole point in being an American? Being free. Maybe that's the problem. I was talking to a friend of mine and he was saying, I don't say I'm free. Free means that I'm worthless. And I was like, wow. Thank you for being here with me on my ride uptown. Gonna have dinner with the family now. You are appreciated. My Cash App is $ Elvis Rosenberg. If you want to help out to the gas tank, to the car tires, to whatever it is you feel like doing, let's go value for value. If you're getting something out of this, then you are appreciated, and you can show your appreciation as well. You are appreciated, and if I am appreciated, then let's go value for value. If you got something out of this, $ Elvis Rosenberg, you are appreciated. Boom.